Welcome everybody to Daytona International Speedway for the Championship Online Racing Association's Sunday Money Series. I'm Ted Manning along with my partner Matt Close here for the 6th race of the Sunday Money Series, their second season here. And Matt, after last week's phenomenal finish, it was a very close one, ended under caution. I think we have another good one here at Daytona tonight.
Yeah, definitely Daytona. The way that you race this track always breeds for a very close finish. You've always has to have that second truck right there behind you, or I mean the whole pack, the way these super speedways work.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, they were in the trucks tonight. But last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway, they were in the street cars, and Dale Smalley took away the championship, or not the championship, but the winning trophy there. But Mark Montanari was right behind him in a very close race. Like I said, Dale Smalley came in first. Mark Montanari came right up beside him, almost got first place. He came in second. Brandon Cody came in third. Ron McMahon came in fourth, and Gary Mickelbacher came in fifth place.
Yeah, finishing 6th, you had Donald King 7th, Garrett Denton in that 99, always a strong runner here with the Cora Sunday Series. 9th finished Michael Watkins, and 8th finished Michael Watkins, and 9th you had Everett Lane. Rounding out the top 10 last week, Brian Cavene.
And the thing about that with the street stock cars, it's not like the trucks that you have. So a lot of them were finishing a lap down or 2 laps down. The only people on the lead lap were 1, 2, and 3. But this is how your points are after the 5th race of the season at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Dale Smalley jumped up 1 spot from 2nd to 1st place. He sits in 1st, and Dallas Miracle lost that top spot. Now sits in 2nd, 10 points behind the leader. Vincent Vinny stayed in 3rd place. James Brown jumping up 3 spots to 4th place, 100 points behind the leader, and Mark Arthur rounding out your top 5, staying where he was the previous race.
Yeah, 6th in points you have the numbers. Excuse me here. 6th in points you have Gordon Berkey, who went up 5 spots last week, so he's only 124 points behind. 7th place you got Mark Glowy, and it is 130 points back. 8th you got Brandon Cody. 9th, Bruce R. Bouchard. He's up 1 spot this week. Following 4 spots, taking a hard hit from last week, David Wink. And he will round out your top 10 in points.
So that's how the points look going into race 6 of the 2nd season of the Championship Online Racing Association. A little bit about the track that we're racing at tonight. Like I said, it's Daytona International Speedway, located in Daytona Beach, Florida, holding about 167,000 fans here. The International Speedway Corporation broke the ground here in 1957, and they opened up 2 years later in 1959. Charles Moneypenny was the one who came up with the architectural design. The asphalt surface, the infield that even breeds good road racing here, as we see from the Rolex 24. It's 2.5 miles around, all 4 turns. The turns are 31-degree banking. The tri-oval has 18-degree banking, and the backstretch is 2-degree banking. So we have a lot of great things to say more, but we're going to go down trackside for this wonderful intro that the Championship Online Racing Association has given us.
Welcome viewers to Championship Online Racing Association's Sunday Money Series. Drivers must qualify in one of 3 qualifiers that run Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, finishing in the top 10 to make it into the Sunday Money Race. Each Sunday Money Race will feature 9 payout positions, meaning close to 1/3 of the drivers racing on Sunday will be going to the bank on Monday. The winner of each Sunday Money Race will receive $30. Second place pays $20, $15 for third, $10 for fourth, and $5 to fifth place. In addition to the top 5 finishing positions, CORA will also pay a $5 award to the fastest qualifier, giving them the Fast Cash Award. Prior to the start of qualifying for each Sunday Money race, a number is drawn at random. The driver qualifying in that position will be awarded a $5 Easy Money Award. The same number will be used to pay a $5 bonus for the driver finishing in that same position in tonight's race. As is the way with CORA to encourage safe, clean racing, CORA will also be paying a $5 bonus for the highest finisher with the fewest incidents outside the top 5. In addition to our drivers racing for the Sunday Money, they are also vying for the coveted CORA Championship. Points will be tallied over the season with the top 5 receiving cash awards, the winner being crowned the CORA Sunday Money Champion. Every time a driver qualifies for a Sunday Money event, their name will go into a pool for a drawing to win a year's membership of iRacing Compliments of CORA, Championship Online Racing Association, the premier series in online racing. Sunday Money Series official sponsors are Dale Smalley Drywall, The Finish is What Counts, Bart, Competition Karting, and Berkey Painting and Sandblasting. Green's Automotive, celebrating 60 years of business. A first look at the all-new 2013 Chevy Malibu. A revolutionary new touch console puts all the information where you need it. Introducing the entirely new Ford Fusion, an entirely new idea of what a car can be. And now we would like to pass off to Reverend Mark Anderson for our pre-race invocation.
Heavenly Father, we thank you that in your divine providence, you made it possible for us to be here tonight. And we ask you, Lord, to watch over our servicemen and women here and abroad. And God, that you would protect them as they protect the freedom that we enjoy. And now, Father God, we lift up to you these asphalt warriors, these high-octane gladiators who are going to risk themselves for the thrill of the race. We pray that you would increase their talents and abilities, that you would heighten their senses and awareness. God, that you would protect them and give them a race that we will never forget. God, that we can have a 3-wide, door-banging drag race to the checkered flag tonight. Yes. Father, we believe that nothing but good things are going to come to pass as soon as these men hit the gas. So, Father, we pray by faith, with joy and thanksgiving in our heart, and in the precious name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and together, all of God's creation says, amen and amen.
And now we'd like to pass it off to our very own Jaden Berkey for today's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now finally, down to Gordon Berkey for the 4 most famous words in motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
And with that command to fire up those engines, the music and the engines roar to life down on pit road here at Daytona International Speedway. 32 cars have qualified tonight. 32 cars rather have qualified tonight. 32 cars will race tonight as we go to our grid. Starting first, grabbing the pole with a qualifying time of 47.635 is Bruce R. Bouchard in his number 11 machine, and right beside him in the number 07, Gary Bauer.
Yeah, starting on the inside of row 2, the number 40, David Wink, and outside of him, the number 2, Mark Jackson.
In row 3, the number 03, Jamie Crandell, starting 5th. And right next to him, the number 69, our current points leader, Dale Smalley.
Just behind him, 7th place position, 98, John Larson. On the outside of him, number 31, Cecil Reen.
Starting 9th, the number 23 of Donald King. And right beside him, starting 10th, the number 15, Daniel E. Miller.
Number 17, starting 11th with a huge points leap, gaining 6 positions last week, Gordon Berkey.
Starting 12th, the number 77, Joshua Gaiman. And right beside him, the number 62, starting 13th, Michael D'Amico.
15th, you have the number 14, Alan Starring on the inside, and 16th, you have the number 57 of Brian Caveni.
Starting 14th, the number 8 of Cody Sivard. We skipped over him. Sorry about that. Starting 17th, the number 5 of Chris Scala. And starting 18th, the number 72 of Ron McMahon.
19th, number 18, Jay Anderson. 20th, number 3, James Wilkins.
Starting 21st, number 9, Norman Sidlick. And right beside him, the number 54 of Daryl Cronkright.
Starting 23rd on the inside, number 71, Vincent Vinny. And on the outside of him, Salvador Accardi.
And starting 25th, the number 13, Verlis Falcons. And starting 26th, the number 87 of Garrett Atwill.
Starting the 27th of 00, James Brown. On the outside of him, you have Colton Berkey.
Yeah, and as we talked about 2 weeks ago, Colton Berkey is the son of Gordon Berkey, so it'll be interesting to see a little father-son duo. But starting 29th, the number 33, Travis Brown, and starting 30th, the number 10, right beside him, Barry Winburn.
Starting 31st, you have the number 26, Mark Montanari. And on the outside of him, Doug Najidi, and he will be the last person to post a qualifying time tonight.
Overall, we have 32 trucks out here on the track going down the backstretch. It is definitely going to be a brutal one with 101 laps. It's going to be a great race. It's going to be a fantastic race. A lot of bump drafting, and hopefully we won't see the same kind of performance that we saw last time we came to Talladega Super Speedway. But lights are off on the pace car. Will we be going green this time by, Matt?
Going green we will be as they come through 3 and 4 slowly. You gotta think here, guys, they're gonna be going about 40 to 45 laps on a tank of gas as long as they stay in the draft. They'll be at the higher end of that, so definitely at least a 2-stop race here tonight, Ted.
Yeah, definitely a 2-stop race, but then you always got to put in everything else that could perhaps happen, such as cautions and other things like that. But the pace car dives down in, green flag is up in the air, and we are underway here at Daytona International Speedway. The number 11 of Bruce R. Bouchard getting hefty push by the number 40 of David Wank, as those teammates get a good push out to the front and get an early lead here at Daytona as they head into 1.
These trucks, when they're cool, they'll be able to push about 2.5 laps before they gotta make that switch when they're overheating. So basically, Bruce R. Bouchard will have to lean over the high side and let his teammate go at that point, and their field's gonna catch them quick, so it could jostle a lot up here.
Yeah, the thing with these super speedways is now with all these new trucks or cars is that you see the 2 tandem drafting group that most people use, and like you said, what that's going to happen is within 2 laps they're going to have to go ahead and take a jump and switch positions so they don't overheat and their truck doesn't explode. So with that being said, you're going to see a lot of these cars doing this trade-off and jump, and what that ends up happening is they end up losing a lot of ground to the pack behind them, and so that's definitely a game changer. You can have 2 cars going up and switching, and then they end up getting cut off and losing their teammate because the whole entire pack has rushed up on them. And so that's something to look for as the race goes on tonight. But we have 101 laps, so everybody should start being calm. And as we do see, it is starting to be calm, as they're the majority of them are single file line back until about the 14th, 15th place.
And even then, guys, it's just a couple people on the high side going towards the back. Maybe they think that place is safer here, as we saw these men at Talladega just a few weeks ago. Not the smoothest drivers, I would say, around a super speedway, but some of them know how to get the job done.
Yeah, by the end of the race there at Talladega, you definitely saw who was your more experienced drivers and who weren't, because for lack of a better term, that ended up being a gigantic wreck fest. But with Talladega in the rearview mirror, they're now looking forward in their season, and that starts once again tonight at Daytona. But you're always going to run into super speedways or these large tracks during your season, and so you always have to take note that they're very unpredictable. At these restrictor plate races, you never quite know who is going to win. I've always said it. You could be leading a lap on the final lap with the white flag waving, and then you'll be in 30th place by the end of that lap. You know, it's a cluster, and it's a crazy ending that we almost always get here at super speedways.
As they completed lap 3 there on to lap 4, you have David Wenck out in the lead. He made the switch to Bruce Arbachard not too long ago, and so did Jeremy Crandell and John Larson have to make that switch just a lap ago. I believe coming into 1 this time, guys, we'll have to see the switch again, as they've been running about a lap and a half to 2 laps behind each other.
And right now we have about 8 cars who have distinguished themselves from the main pack itself out front there. David Wenck, Bruce Arbachard, Jeremy Crandall, John Larson, Cecil Rain, Gary Bauer, Mark Jackson, and Dale Smalley. Dale Smalley, as you all know from what we said earlier in the race, is the points leader coming into the 6th race of the season, and so it'll be interesting to see how he goes ahead and takes charge this race. We've seen a couple of trucks head onto the back because they feel that may be the safest place as of right now after last time we went to Talladega. But Dale Smalley, our points leader, sticking up there and trying to make his way to the front, Matt.
Yeah, guys, and Dallas Markle not able to make the race this week, didn't qualify, so the next person in line for points to make a threat towards Dale Smalley would be Vincent Vinny, who's running around mid-pack right now, and let's see where he's about at. Yeah, and he's actually towards the back. He's 71 Vincent Vinny in 21st position, but in a comfortable pack right there with side-by-side action going on.
Yeah, and you see all these different drivers that we've mentioned their names from past races, such as Bruce Arbachard, he's always been up there, David Wenck, John Larson, and as you just said, Vincent Vinny all the way back there. And the whole thing with Dallas Miracle, this is why I love this this series, is that you have to race in. It's the best of the best in the certain car that you are racing in. In this matter, it is the truck series, trucks that we are currently racing in, these Chevy Silverados. But just last week, they were in a totally other atmosphere, a 100% 180 turn away into these street stock cars. And so it all depends on what you're good at and if you can make it in. Also, with these qualifying races, if you get wrecked out during a qualifying race, then that screws you for these races coming up, that the main race that you get into. And so anything can happen in this series. Anybody can be a player. And like I said before, some names we haven't even seen before, such as Chris Scala sitting back there in the 14th position, that number 5 car. He's somebody that we haven't heard from before, or haven't heard from in a while, and he's sitting back there comfortably, getting a good little push, trying to make it up there to a car to give him a push. And so it's these guys that you've never heard of before that get these chances to race in a league, especially a league that's broadcast on ETV Live, and that's what makes CORA so special.
Yeah, I believe this is the first time I've seen that 31 of Cecil Rene out on the track, running 5th position right now, with partnering up with Gary Bauer, who's a common man to see here on ETV Live. Just trying to get it done tonight with, I believe it's probably his debut race here in the CORA Series. It's nice to see that these guys have a chance to qualify in, with the 3 qualifying nights a week. And back in the pack, around 16th position, it looks like somebody is up in the wall back here.
Yeah, looking back there, we have a huge wreck on the front stretch. Trucks bouncing off to each other, rather. Let's take a look back and see what could have possibly happened. I'm on board right now with the number 3 car of James Wilkins. It looks like he was caught up in this mess. It looks like the number 15 of Daniel E. Miller was turned by the number 77 of Joshua Gaiman. And he spun down the track and ended up coming back up and collecting a few more cars in that wreck. So caution out on the speedway here at Daytona International Speedway after a wreck on the front stretch.
Yeah, just getting turned, but all the way back in turn 4 before that even happened, the 57 of Brian Coveney just shoved up into the wall. And I think just a chain reaction, all these drivers being wound up from almost causing a wreck coming out of 4 into the trial will just, in their minds, they were still all over the place.
Yeah, it's one of those things that a puff of smoke or someone slamming on their brakes can cause a chain reaction and cause everybody to group up on one another. And once everybody kind of groups up on one another, goes 4 wide, 3 wide, or starts bouncing up really close to one another when there's plenty of room, that causes a lot of problems because people don't actually know what they can do in that situation, especially when you have these new guys. I saw a couple of new faces actually in that wreck. And so it's a learning experience. And with these new guys who don't really have that a point lead, you know, or who are new to the series, it's a learning experience. And so they try to make a name for themselves, and if they like this series, they come back and maybe be a contender next season, or maybe be able to show some stuff to where they can become a teammate of somebody on a major team. Like we were talking about before the caution, Cecil Reen in that number 31 car, he was running with the big boys. Somebody that we've never talked about before is being pushed by a veteran, the number 07 of Gary Bauer. So anything can happen here at Daytona, and it's really anybody's race up until this point. But we're under caution here right now, Matt. And so what are some of the strategies these guys are looking at?
I think right now the thing you do is you got to stay out, run a few more laps. Just keep track position, because overall, like we've seen, not much passing up front. You still got the 40 of David Wink and the number 11 of Bruce Arbishard sitting out front 1-2. But coming to the restart, they're definitely going to have to talk to each other and time this just right to where they can get lined up.
And that's definitely true, and that's one of the problems with these guys that have matching paint schemes and being on a team. And all of these other guys who are veterans per se know that these guys are teammates, and so that's another strategy that someone can try to take in place, is that they can try to knock one of those guys out of the way, not wreck them, but knock them out of the way so they can try to get under them, split them up. Because when those two are together, David Wank and Bruce Arbishard, they're very strong. Any teammate who's together at a super speedway and has that tandem draft are very strong, especially veterans like David Wank and Bruce Bouchard.
And it's going to take some talent here, realizing what it means when that red tags are blinking on their screen and where to go and to time this right. What if you have the truck on your outside? Does that guy on the inside know how to lay off and not blow up his bumper? Once you get into all these aspects here, and these guys have setups, they can make these trucks too loose, clear the push. So it's definitely going to come to a challenge.
And being waved around the pace car as of right now is Cody Savart, who was a lap down, and he will be our lucky taw going around. He is the number 8 car. So he gets to wave around. He will go around and get back up onto the lead lap. 31 cars on your lead lap as of right now. Brian Coveney is 1 lap down, a name that we've seen in a couple of races this season. But rounding out your top 5, you have David Wank, obviously the number 40. Our pole sitter, the number 11 of Bruce Arbishard. Number 03 of Jeremy Crandell. John Larson, the number 98. And Cecil Reen in the number 31.
Definitely going to be an interesting restart here. Is they going to make a whole nother lap around? Lights still on the pace car. Probably we expect them to go off this time, as it looks like the track's clear and they got the wave around getting ready to line up. And completing a lap 12, going on to lap 13 here, or taking a lap 12, excuse me, of 101 laps, so still a very long way to go.
Yeah, very long way to go indeed, and that's one of the things that these guys need to start realizing and understanding as the season goes along is that these are long races, you know, and especially like I said at a super speedway track, when you have these long races, 101 laps, 102 laps, what have you, you have plenty of opportunities to get up there to the front. You don't need to always be racing one another. I think this last caution, this first caution that we've had tonight, I don't think it was more of a whole everybody's bunched up trying to race for it. I think it was more of a happening that people saw others checking up, slamming on the brakes, got scared, and bounced off of one another. However, as this goes along, you're going to see cars, or trucks rather, starting to get antsy. These drivers want to get up there. They want to get to the front. They see all this fun these leaders are having racing in this pack cleanly. They want to be a part of that. And I think also another aspect of it, Matt, is the fact that it is broadcasted live. It is on ETV live, and these guys who are new to the series see that as an opportunity to make their name shine out there and to get their name out there. Because even though this is sim racing, you know, this is a sport to most people. This is a way to be in that kind of medium in stock car racing, and so these guys take it seriously. And hopefully this will be the last caution that we see for a while, and we see some good green lap racing. But Matt, what do I always say every time we come to a race? Cautions breed cautions.
Yeah, and they sure do. Not so much here at the super speedways, though, so let's hope to get a little bit of a green flag run. As we saw these guys, you're trying to single file out, ride around for a little bit. The leaders got a little bit of a pack, but they're like, oh, hey, we're going to stay single file. Pass them now, doesn't really matter too much, as they have well over 200 miles to go tonight. So, Ted, who is your pick to win tonight? Who do you think may be able to go towards taking a chunk from Dale Smalley up there in the P1 for points?
I think as of right now, someone who's got a really good chance is Bruce Barbachard, our points leader. He's always up there in every single race that you see. Another name that you could say is Dale Smalley. You know, I mean, all these guys that you have, the big names up there, have a reason to say that they're going to win. But I'm going to jump out on a limb, and I'm going to say my pick for tonight is the new guy, the number 31 of Cecil Reen.
I think it's a strong pick for somebody who's hasn't raced too much with these guys. He's definitely picked a good teammate out there, Gary Bauer, always finishing up front, even trying to help out his buddy there at Talladega, and ended up getting involved in a wreck.
And we're just getting word from our producer, Laura, is that she is going to be with Larson, John Larson up there, the number 98, and so that hopefully he'll do good for Laura. But only time will tell here. 101 laps up on the board is what we have to complete. We're only on lap 13, so I think these guys need to just sit back, relax, pull their belts down tight, and try to hold out until the end.
It's definitely going to be a patience game as they're coming to take the green flag again. And they'll have about a little less than 90 laps to go as they take the green flag this time. Here's where you got to start thinking, Ted. Do we want to do the backwards pit stop? They can make one pit stop now, and then it's a one pit stop race for them, where they could kind of follow the field and maybe run out their tank right now and pit later on with a short run to the end.
I think, you know, and I don't want to say it, but green flag's out on the speedway. They get back underway. I think that there's going to be another caution shortly. Matt, do I hope that there isn't? Of course, because I want to see some good green flag racing to entertain the fans. But I fear a caution is probably looming soon. And with that being said, as back in the pack, there's already a car up into the, or truck up into the wall and moving on back. So, you know, only time will tell, Matt. But I think it's going to come down to there's going to be a caution that they're going to use that as an opportunity to jump into the pits.
Yeah, I'm looking back to about the 10th place position here with number 23, 62, and 5, all showing identical paint schemes out here on the track, and they're trying to get hooked up together and make their way to the front as they're trying to go for a team win here in the CORA Series.
Yeah, and that's the number 23 of Donald King and the number 14 of or not number 14, sorry, the number 23 of Donald King, number 62 of Michael D'Amico, as they try to make up there. The number 5 of Chris Scala kind of falling back up there. See, that's a problem with having these teams with 3 cars that join in. There's always going to be that oddball out, and Chris Scala kind of gets the dirt end of that as he starts falling back a little bit.
And back up front, just two-car tangos pulling away from the pack. They got about a second lead over 5th place at this point. But they're almost side by side, where Dale Smalley's trying to get number 2 of Mark Jackson to move up and make a pass, but they kind of just hang out right there. They're going to ride around for a little bit.
Yeah, Dale Smalley in his infamous Talladega Nights car, the Me car that Ricky Bobby rode in that movie. He's back there sitting happily in the 8th position. He's trying to get, like you said, the number 2 of Mark Jackson to get a move on so we can try to get up there into the front. But you got a lot race to go as we see a lap car going up high, a slower car going up high, maybe even scraping the wall a little bit as he's trying to stay out of the way for all these lead cars sliding around the turn. As they come back down onto the front stretch, they will complete another lap here at Daytona International Speedway. Caution free so far. But looking back at that number 69, pushing the number 2 of Mark Jackson, they're moving on up. They're pushing by the number 98 of John Larson, that Budweiser car, and then they're going to start trying to hunt down that number 07 of Gary Bauer.
I'm just watching these switches go along through the field as it looks like Mark Jackson finally making the outside move on the 98 of John Larson, kind of just leaving him hung out there on the bottom.
Yeah, he is. He just starts falling back. He doesn't have really anybody to work with right now. And see, that's key here at a super speedway, Talladega or Daytona, is that you need that partner to work with. You need that person to push it, because if you don't have a car or a truck in this case to push one another in these 2-car tandems, then you're going to be hung out to dry. I think on a couple of situations we have seen 3 cars, because we were covering the Gen 6 cars at the time, but 3 cars hooking up and pushing pretty strong, but I haven't seen that yet with 3 trucks, and that might be a little bit shaky to try to get done. But looking back up at the front at the number 11 of Bruce Arbachard and David Wank, it looks like we have a 2-car tandem trying to make a move up on that high side to get past him. That's the number 03 of Jeremy Crandall and the number 31 of Cecil Reen. They're trying to make something happen.
And a telltale sign that Cecil's up there. He's trying to learn everybody. He's not quite sure who he wanted to work with. Last time he was up there, we saw him working with the 07 Gary Bauer. And it looks like Jeremy was actually working with number 8 of John Larson. Ditched their partners. They're like, oh, hey, why don't we try and hook up a little bit? And their partners are sliding back in a hurry. They're going to have to find new people to draft with.
And with that little toss-up of people drafting with one another, they're actually holding their own. They're holding pretty good. The rookie Cecil Reen in the number 31 is sitting in a nice little spot in 4th place up there at the front, out of harm's reach. Don't want to jinx him, but usually when you think of the big one that's going to happen here tonight, and it always happens at super speedways, it's somewhere in the pack where they're racing pretty strong.
All the way back to the 20th position, you got 3rd place in points, Vincent Vinny. Looking to pick up another spot here is they're going around the number 9 of Norton Sidlick. That's James Brown and the 00 pushing him around to the outside of the track. And guys, they're running about 200 miles an hour when they get down to the back of these straightaways. And that's only because they got to restrict these things. They got so much horsepower.
Yeah, Vincent Vinny getting a very strong push by that number 00 of James Brown. But looking back up there at the front, jumping back up to the front, we have the new leaders out there. We have Jeremy Crandall and Cecil Reen taking the lead away from Bruce Arbachard and David Wank. And who else has jumped up there? Our points leader, Dale Smalley and Mark Jackson, as they jump to the high side to try to lead this lap.
That high line carrying so much speed really does help them out here when they're coming down the straightaways. And they just have to be able to push longer pretty much than the tango there on the bottom, so it's going to all depend on when they made their last switch.
and Jeremy Crandall will be given that last lap, as it is shown on the scoreboard that he has led it. But Dale Smalley, our points leader, looking up high and still up high. He will lead this lap this time by, with Mark Jackson, that number 2, pushing him strong. Those are two very strong cars, but now looking up, wanting to get in on some of this action. Broussard Bouchard and David Wank have kind of separated from one another a little bit, and who's going to try to take advantage of that is the number 98 of John Larson and the number 17 of Gordon Berkey. The thing about the number 17 Gordon Berkey, you might say, hey, we've heard that name a couple of times here, and you should have, because last season we covered here at ETV Live at Talladega their season finale, their season 1 finale. It all came down to Gordon Berkey and Dale Smalley in the championship points. And so Gordon Berkey, now sitting in his number 17 car in 8th place, he wants a little bit of shot at this at leading here with his drafting partner John Larson, that number 98. So we have single file line from 1st place on back to 8th place, and so it'll be kind of interesting to see once these guys have to switch up.
And it looks like the 11 of David Wank, 11 of Bruce Arbachard and 40 David Wank, they're just going to sit in line. Words out caution on the track. The number 9 is Norman Sidlick spinning through the grass here. And it looks like just coming through the tri-oval, he chops off the number 33 of Travis Brown, spinning him for a ride down into the apron.
Looking at the replay here, the number 9 of Norman Sidlick, as they're heading down the front stretch, what it looks like has happened is he got a little bit of a love tap there from the number 33 of Travis Brown, which sent him down. Travis Brown, significant damage to the front of his number 33 Caterpillar machine. But the number 9 coming back up, getting into the number 3 car, and as he took a little damage probably to the nose of his car there, but after that it was okay. You know what's weird is that could have been very bad, Matt.
Definitely could have been very bad. It's lucky that he spun down into the apron and just right back up on to the track with only one person in the way, not a huge group of people. So definitely a lot of people escaped that, very lucky. But at this point, I gotta expect most of these guys, they're coming down for fuel, maybe throwing a couple tires on there, but tires ain't that important here at Daytona.
Certainly not, but like you said, fuel is, and so they're probably, like I told you earlier when we were going back to green, I think that a caution was going to come out and be a huge proponent here in getting fuel in their fuel strategy. But we're going to go to commercial here, ETV Live, and hopefully be back in time to get you the green flag. So we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Where you can hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV, live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Travers, start your engines!
comes up at a corner number 4, and the checkered flag, he wins his first.
Alright guys, back here live, Sunday Money Series, Championship Online Racing Association. These guys, they take qualifying races 3 days a week to make it into the event tonight, so some names we'll see some weeks, and some new faces every week for guys who qualify in for their first time here. Leading the field right now, you got Mark Jackson, Fearless Falcons, Dale Somali, Bruce Bouchard, Jeremy Crandell, all rounding out your top 5. And we saw you saw everybody come down and pit pretty much under that last caution. Some took tires, some took no tires. That's how Fearless Falcons got his way up here. So definitely going to make it interesting. Gotta go around at least one more time with the lights on the pace car tonight. Somebody to watch though, definitely Mark Jackson, the Dale Somali partner brothers up there as they worked their way around. David Wink, Bruce Bouchard, Cecil Rain, Jeremy Crandall, John Larson. I mean, everybody as they weaved in and out, moving their way up through the field. And it looks like lights are off. They'll go double file up here at the front of the field, trying to get everybody lined up. And they're actually trying to watch out for the wave around possibly. Yeah, and taking the lucky dog you see flying by everybody, that's 93 is Salvatore Accardi. So everybody will now come back up onto the track, double file it up. Travis Brown caught speeding, it looks like, with a black flag. He'll have to restart at the tail end of the field coming into the restart. Norman Sidlick, we're seeing, has pulled it behind the wall for the night. Just a couple of people to give you an update on. 57, Brian Coveney, involved in an early on wreck. He's 2 laps down. You have Garrett Atwill a lap down, and then Salvatore Accardi, last man on the lead lap. So that puts 29 trucks here on the lead lap tonight.
Yeah, we got 1 lap to go until we go back to green here at Daytona International Speedway. 27 laps have been completed this time by, and 101 laps up on the board is what we're going to have to complete by the time that this race is over. So up front, Mark Jackson leading the way. A switcher up that we haven't seen, a name we haven't seen up there, the number 13 of Fearless Falcons. Sitting in third is Dale Smalley in the number 69, Bruce Bouchard in the 11, and Jeremy Crandell in the number 03. The pace car jumps down below, takes that hard left turn, and we are back to green, but slow to start, not picking up speed and making everybody bunch up is that number 13 of Fearless Falcons. He jumps up, and we got a wreck on the front stretch already, and we are back to caution here on the track after Fearless Falcons could not get up to speed on that restart.
Definitely bunching up the field. Cost that 11 of Bruce Bouchard a ton of spots, knocked him away from his teammates, so there's going to be trouble there, and caused this huge pile up towards the back of the field with the 54 and the 15, Daniel E. Miller. It looks like he goes to check up, and Daniel just doesn't stop in time, goes right into him and shoots some guys down into that low lane. after he runs into the 54 and takes out even more cars. So that's going to be a whole mess for some of these guys here at the back of the field.
Yeah, some of these cars took heavy shots, especially that number 54, who just took a terrible shot. Daryl Cronkright is who I'm looking at, just took a huge lick to that inside retaining wall on down that pit road. And so he took a huge hit right there, and he's probably going to have to take his car behind the wall and get some fixes done to it. Another car that was looking sideways coming down there. So a lot of these cars are now messed up, because one car could not get up to speed. That was the number 13 of Verlis Falcon. So not a lot of people are going to be happy with that guy, Matt.
Yeah, definitely not a lot of people are going to be happy with him, but taking his chance with his strategy to get up there at the front of the field, altering his pit stop from everybody else's. So you got to give him credit for at least doing something out of the normal.
Very true. That's one thing that people can try to do here at super speedways is not do the normal. You know, do the crazy, do the exciting, because that's always what viewers want to see there. But his one little trick that he tried to do there, tried to mess with his pitting and everything, it just did not end well for a lot of people.
Alright guys, and we got the man who pretty much puts this together, helps us out with the points and passwords every week. Got Larson up here. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm kicking back, enjoying the race, man. This has been pretty exciting.
So from what you have seen so far tonight, we got people like Mark Jackson, who's worked his way towards the front side, that not seeing you out there this week, I don't believe. So you got these guys who made their way to the front. Who do you think's going to win the race tonight?
I don't know. He was just involved in that last wreck. I'm hoping maybe he has a good crew chief that can get that thing fixed for him. But that number 8 truck, Cody Sievert, was the one that I was pulling for. He's got that Dynasty paint scheme, coolest paint scheme on the track tonight, I think.
Yeah, I think he's got a pretty cool paint scheme out there too. So what's made it so you couldn't qualify for us this week? Is we usually enjoy seeing you out here. You're a pretty good race car driver, always up towards the front.
Well, I'm trying to build the series, and I figured it'd be a good idea to step back and, you know, take the big picture approach and try and get this thing built up to where I think it needs to be, and just kind of focus on my public relations and trying to get this thing going.
Alright, and so just to get some more people here interested, possibly just viewers at the moment, what would you say that you're doing to enhance your league to get maybe this more broadened to everybody out there on iRacing?
Well, the one thing I like about our series is that it's a series that was created for anybody. You know, you don't have to be anybody special to get up here and be able to you know, race on ETV Live and make a name for yourself.
And that's definitely true here tonight. Ted, do you have anything for Larson while we got him here?
Hey Larson, how you doing? Some good racing so far. I mean, what else do you have in store for us, the fans here, for CORA for the rest of the season?
Oh man, we got one coming up in a couple of weeks that's going to be a barn burner. We got the Legends coming up at USA, and I cannot wait. We're working on the format for it, but I think we're kind of going to do it like the World of Outlaw style, where you'll have an A main and a B main, and then the main race.
Awesome. Sounds a lot of fun, Larson. I bet that we're going to get a lot of fans, if we don't already have them now, watching once that comes down here, down the wire in a couple of weeks. So that's something that everybody watching tonight can have a go at and see what's going on. So I love what you did here with CORA, with the Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series, Larson. Thanks for coming up here.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to get up here and talk to you guys. This has been fun. I really look forward going forward, and I think we've got a pretty good long. One thing I do want to mention is that we've got a chase series coming up next season. We're going to have a 10 race regular season, and then we're going to final it off with a 3-race chase series. So I think that'll make it a little bit more interesting.
It definitely sounds like that.
Yeah, as we're getting ready to go back green here, Larson, we couldn't do this without you here, the Championship Online Racing Association, everybody out there that helps you. How about you give a little word out for everybody who helps you get the funds and ideas in your head?
Oh man, there's so many people to mention. James Brown, the president of CORA, Kevin McCarthy, Terry Hurley, Gordon Berkey, Ralph Shipman. Man, they're just everybody that's involved with CORA and the drivers themselves. You know, we couldn't do this without them. So I just want to say I really appreciate all them, and you know, we couldn't do it without.
All right, thanks for taking the time to talk to us, Alan. We're gonna send you on your way as we get ready to go back green here. So here tonight, Championship Online Racing Association, they do qualify 3 nights a week and all work their way hard to get here, building setups towards their main night to help get themselves some bonus cash in their pockets. Alright, and Alan Jackson's going to line up there on the inside. They're going to go double file with the lights off this time. They're on lap 32 of 101. About 70 laps here to go in the books. And Ted, just a wild race so far. Now you've got teammates split up because this caution, teammates together. Where do you think everybody's going to go?
It's very hard to tell, especially with this restart that we're going to see. And so it's going to be very difficult to see exactly how they line up. I'm interested to see exactly what's going to happen with that number 13 car who's sitting in 6th place, Burles Falcon. So, I mean, is he just going to head on back like he did before, or is he going to actually get a good start when we take the green flag? And only time will tell, Matt. And so as we come around this turn and head onto the front stretch, and that pace car is going to take that hard left turn onto pit road, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I don't know if Bruce Bouchard, that number 11, will want to make any drastic move to get around the 13 to get to his teammate, or if David Wank's going to take a hit for the team and fall back so he can get him. But we'll find out in a couple of seconds as that pace car jumps down and green flag is up in the air. Mark Jackson takes the green flag as we head to 1. Mark Jackson is trying to hold his own there in the front place, but he has a very fast running guy right ahead of him as Dale Smollett jumps up to the lead, being pushed by, it looks like, David Wank in that number 40 car. Looking at the number 13, the guy that I was talking about before, Burles Falcons, he is starting to drop back a bunch as a bunch of single file cars are down below. But to get away from the front, as everybody's racing single file line so far, so to get away from the front a little bit, looking back up to the back of the pack, we're looking at the number 72 in the 12th position, Ron McMahon in his number 72 Netcode Illuminati car as he heads back there. He's also in single file line as he'll try to push up to the front.
You get the number 62 of Michael D'Amico, kind of just chilling out here. He's looking to team up with the 18 back in 12th and 13th. They're kind of in the lone man zone here. Nobody right behind him, nobody ahead of him. Burles Falcon's fallen all the way back from 2nd and 2 restarts to go to 14th, so his strategy not working out for him. No partners up there. They all know who they want to work with, and these guys coming up on him, I feel, are the same exact way. They know who they want to be with at this point, Ted.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see exactly what is going to transpire up there at the front as we see a bunch of different people jumping back and forth from one another, trying to get a good a good jump from one another. But something that we just saw up there at the front, Dale Smalley, he had to jump out of the position that he currently was. He jumped up high and now falls back to third place as he's right behind, bouncing off the bumper of that number 2, Mark Jackson, who's in turn pushing that number 40, David Wank. But we were talking about teammates. So David Wank, that number 40, is sitting in second place, but his teammate is all the way back in 8th place, still single file line, Bruce Arbachard, and right behind him is the number 98 of John Larson, but it looks like he might be pushing that new guy, number 31 of Cecil Reen, as he jumps up out of the gun a little bit, but they're still single file line from about first place on back to it looks like 9th place.
Yeah, earlier on in the race when Bauer went from that backward slide from second place when he had lost his partner, Gordon Berkey picked him up. They were all the way back to about 8th, 10th place at one point, and they're already back up here in the top 5, so definitely a pair to watch out for coming into these closing laps.
And like I said last season, Gordon Berkey was up there trying to fight for the championship in points right next to Dale Smalley, and so he's not a guy who you can count out too easily. He's usually always there at the end of the season, and so it'll be interesting to see exactly where this whole thing ends up at the end. Like I said, we're on only the 6th race of this second season of the Sunday Money series, and so only time will tell in that case. Matt, a guy that I have not seen recently or tonight is Michael Churchma. We're missing him.
Yeah, we're missing a list of big guys tonight. You don't see Dallas Markle, Brandon Cody, Churchma. These guys, they must not have had a good week in the qualifying. I mean, Daytona can always be a whole crapshoot how good you're going to do in these qualifying races. As you've seen here tonight, you can just get caught up in a wreck that's not even your own fault or you're doing. So these guys probably either taking the week off or couldn't have any luck in the 3 qualifying races. But as much as we've got the big names in here, we've allowed for some of the new names like Cecil Reen, Chris Scala, and all these new kids. All these new young guns just trying to make their break for it and possibly get their way towards the top of the points.
Yeah, and it seems that caution is once again out on the speedways. We're trying to look back to see where this caution has taken place. We heard that there was a spinner out there on the speedway, so we'll try to look back and see exactly what's going on with that, Matt.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out who.
Yeah. Alright, so looking at the number 62, it seems, who is Michael D'Amico, as they're heading off in turn 1 and 2, he's being pushed by the number 18 car of Jay Anderson as they head in there. It turns out that number 18 car in that Pepsi machine gives him a little bit of a turn. He hits the apron and starts spinning sideways, but one heck of a save there as he safely got his truck back under control and down, but caution out on the speedway, Matt.
Yeah, Ted, some terrific driving there, something we can see all night. They don't have pressure gauges on these things, so who knows how hard you're pushing him. Maybe he doesn't like it all that much. But definitely an exciting save there, no damage on the car. We're going to step away for right now, take a break and get some food and drinks, and join you guys back here in a couple minutes.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Landon Huffman coming to a comfortable lead, coming out of 2. He's got about 8 car lengths, put it half a second over Dwayne Vincent as Chad Cole works the number 2 spot.
Time is running out. Vincent's got it. Cole wants it to the wall. Chevrolet puts the bumper to the 13 of Vincent. Vincent not backing down. He's in second. We got one car on the bottom of the
Radio, ETV, Live Sports Radio, even adult and unplugged. Rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks. HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Travis, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 and the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
We're back live here at Daytona International Speedway. We're still under caution here. Lights still on the pace car. So let's take a couple of minutes to talk about our sponsors here, such as Inside Sim Racing, who sponsors the Thursday night Real Sim Racing series. Inside Sim Racing, your first and best choice for all the news and reviews in online motorsports. Join Darren Ganji and Sean Cole for the latest and greatest in product reviews, simulation, auto racing games for the PCs and the Xbox crowd. From steering wheels to full-size racing rigs, updates on popular racing games, and a whole lot more. The yellow pages of online auto racing, Inside Sim Racing has it all. Visit them at www.isrtv.com. Also, someone that we want to talk about here is the Hammer Radio Show, one of the sponsors up there next to your live feed. The Hammer with Mark Bratcher and Greg McKinney, Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. on ETV Live Radio. Underground and over-the-top, door slamming, bumper banging, wicked ass loose and 3 wide. Join Mark and Greg for all sideways, wall banging, no holds barred radio show about the racing everyday, which way but loose. The Hammer, Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. on ETV Live Radio, powered by the HD Radio Network. We are back here, Daytona International Speedway, lap 42 of 101 laps here. 42 will be completed this time by as lights are off the pace car, and we'll be back to racing here, Matt. Once again, we have to look at this number 40 car, David Wenk. His teammate, who he was running very well with at the very beginning of the race, the number 11 of Bruce Arbachard, is back there at 9th. So, what do you think is going to happen, Matt?
I think it's just going to be very interesting. These guys still trying to get hooked up with their teammates up front. And you can tell that they're uncomfortable with the people they're working with, the way they're trying to just kind of not really push too hard, and they're staying in the pack more or less than when we saw at the beginning of the race, where it was a single-file race.
Someone I want to talk about is that number 81 call of Colton Berkey, the son of Gordon Berkey, who Gordon Berkey currently sits in 6th place. His son in 14th position. His son was back last time I saw him in the 29th position. So he's made a pretty good run up there to the front. And hopefully his luck will keep on turning out for him, as right behind him in that 15th spot is the number 71 of Vincent Vinny. And we've seen all day that he has had a very strong truck. And so as we go back to green, we'll have to look at that and see what happens. But up front, the number 2 of Mark Jackson, right beside him, the number 40 of David Wenk. And we'll go back to green flag racing here at Daytona International Speedway as the pace car is about to drop off, and it does, down pit road. Green flag is up in the air. Mark Jackson getting a hefty push and lead out there by the number 69 of Dale Smalley. Jumping down low is that number 17 of Gordon Berkey as he gets right underneath the number 07 of Gary Bauer. It gives him a good push up there, and losing time in track is the number 40 car of David Wank with that number 03 of Jeremy Crandall right behind him. They're stuck on the outside, not much to go as the majority of the cars from about first place on back to, I'd say, 16th have gone single file line as they've been able to jump back down. But looking on back, it seems we have a car loose going into turn 3. As I'll jump back in a second and see exactly what car was that, and we'll get a good look at exactly what could have happened out there.
Yeah, and looking at it right now, guys, single file all the way towards the back. We hear the 33, and I'm just watching the 98. John Larson's slingshot to the outside loose. They're 3 wide right now with the 03 and the number 72 of Ron McConaughey as they're trying to make some moves for the lead.
Yeah, that ended up being the number 33, Travis Brown, going into 3. Got a little bit loose on the apron and started losing his truck, but he held on to it caution-free as of right now. Green flag still out on the raceway as we see some very good racing here as we're, like I said, mostly single-file line all the way back. Someone who just jumped down in line, one of the teammates there right next to the 5 car of Chris Scala, his teammate, that number 03 car of Jeremy Crandall. They are back-to-back as they are headed down and hopefully trying to work together there as they head on down the front stretch. Right in front of them, though, that number 98 of John Larson, someone that we've seen up there within the top 10 all day today. Maybe he can do something to move up there to the front and get a good lead.
Yeah, looking at the net code elimination truck, number 72, Ron McConaughey, started all the way back in 18th, guys. He's already broke the top 10. He's up 10 positions right now and working with the number 14 truck, trying to make his way towards the front to win the race.
And now heading off into turn 1 once again, lap 46 of 101. These two teammates have once again hooked up. Bruce R. Bouchard and his teammate there, David Wank, in that 40 car and 11 car respectively. They have hooked up once again, and now they're going to try to push up to the front. Like I was saying earlier, they have worked together very well at the beginning of this race, and now we'll get to see them working together again. As up at the front, Dale Smalley and Mark Jackson, and whoa, getting loose is the number 07 as they spin. Oh my gosh, a lot of big names. They're spinning. It's a big wreck, Matt.
Yeah, huge wreck there at the moment, and it's just, that was insane. Taking out a lot of our top runners here, it's really going to shake up the people at the front of the field.
Yeah, it looks like the number 17 of Gordon Berkey gave Gary Bauer and that number 07 a huge hit, which just both got them loose. Berkey taking a tremendous hit to that outside wall, and he'll slam into the outside wall, and then coming down, the number 11 car of Bouchard got tapped, and he sent him up into the wall, and the number 40 car, his teammate, David Wank, also slammed into him. So a lot of big names being collected in this wreck, Matt.
Definitely a ton of huge names, and they're at that point, like I said, once again, they haven't pit yet. They're going to have to get some gas, but I'm pretty sure everybody's pit by now. And it's starting to become that fuel strategy. I think you got to pit early, pit late. Do you want that short run at the end, Ted, or do you want the long run at the end if we get that green flag run?
I say you want to have that short run because, I mean, it's all about racing, and you got to take all the instances that have happened in these past few races. All these cautions have come out at the very end when we haven't really seen too many green white checkers. You know, it's just probably because they don't allow that here in the CORA series. But I don't know. I'd say the short run, Matt.
I don't know, man. I'd go for the long run at the end sometimes. It's all going to depend. I don't want to be on pit road if there's a crowd. I know that.
Yeah, with the way these guys are hitting each other every single which way, the only way left is to hit one another on a pit road. So I wouldn't be so surprised if that ended up happening. Under caution once again here at Daytona International Speedway. The number 69 of Dale Smalley is your current leader. Number 2 of Mark Jackson right behind him. Then Cecil Reen, the guy that I was talking about earlier, that number 31, he's looking in the 3rd place position. In 4th, the number 72 of Ron McMahon in his Netcode Illuminati car. And number 14 in 5th place, Alan Staring. So that rounds out your top 5. Some names that you still see up there, some big names, but somebody that I just mentioned before, he was sitting in about 18th position, now sits in 8th position, Colton Berkey.
And Colton Berkey definitely making a run towards the front here tonight. It's just a really good finish for this guy, and he does this every week, looking better and better as they go.
Yeah, so it's always good to see that father and son connection when it comes to racing and everything, so it's a nice little treat. However, Colton Berkey's father, Gordon Berkey, was collected in that wreck that we are under caution for right now, and so that wreck right there has really shaped up and changed the way that we're going to be looking at this race for the remainder of tonight. Because the only big names that I really see up there that I have seen throughout this race is that number 69 of Dale Smalley, our current points leader, who is sitting in 1st place, and Mark Jackson, that number 2 car. Everybody else really hasn't been up there in the top 5, and so that kind of messes everything around and screws everything up, because you got guys like Gordon Berkey or Bruce R. Bouchard, David Wank, all these big names guys, James Wilkins, John Larson, they're all hit and they're falling back big time. Gary Bauer, another guy who is right now a lap down. So you got to look at a situation like that and really wonder to yourself, how is that going to shape the end of this race? All these guys that we have not seen before, now it is their time to shine as they sit up there in the front rows here at Daytona.
Yeah, definitely, as you guys see on the front row here at Daytona coming to the end. You got Dale Smalley, Mark Jackson, though, back hooked up. Ted, what can they get done here? Do you think they'll pull away?
I mean, right now, when you look at those 2 cars, Dale Smalley, Mark Jackson, I mean, those guys, or trucks rather, those guys have worked together absolutely brilliantly tonight. And I mean, they're probably going to just continue to work that way because they both have very strong trucks. And on top of that, they're very strong drivers. So, I mean, when this green flag drops and they go back to green, I would not be surprised to see them just absolutely rocket away from those back cars. But we have seen from that number 31 of Cecil Reen, when he hooks up with somebody, I mean, he can move. He's got a very fast truck. And the only problem is the guy that he mostly worked with today, Gary Bauer, is now sitting a lap down. As we just saw a lap truck go by, Daniel E. Miller was raved around the pace car. He is our lucky dog this caution, and so he's back on the lead lap, that number 15 car. But Gary Bauer, Gordon Berkey, I mean, Bruce R. Bouchard, Vincent Vinny, Verlis Falcons, all these, well, not Verlis Falcons really, but all these main guys that we've talked about today, I mean, are just, they've fallen back a few because of this wreck, and so it's going to be interesting to see if they can get back up there, if their trucks can handle get back up there. If not, then it's going to be a very interesting race.
It's definitely going to be a very interesting race, but like every weekend, these guys got their couple of backups out there that they let them pull out, so like you said, these guys aren't out of the race, at least not yet. Vincent Vinny, though, the guy in 3rd, he's got to get up there and give Dale Smalley a run for his money so he can take a chunk towards that points lead. And
not only that, the number 50 lap, we're on lap 50 right now, out of 101. Lap 51 is our halfway mark, and our halfway mark is sponsored by the Barks Competition Karting, who is sponsoring the halfway bonus that the leader gets once he is leading at halfway, and that's a $10 credit bonus towards iRacing. And like I said, that's from Barks Competition Karting. They're the ones sponsoring it, so whoever's leading lap 51, who, I mean, this time by, is once they come around one more time around, so whoever leads his first lap is going to get that extra $10 points. And I don't know, right now it looks like Dale Small is a pretty good shoe-in for that halfway mark, Matt.
Yeah, definitely a good shoe-in for the halfway mark, especially because all he's got to do is make it around that one lap.
Yeah, and that shouldn't be too hard, unless you have a guy like Mark Jackson trying to push his way up there and get past you to lead that lap as well, because all of these guys are aware of that halfway mark credit bonus. And so, I mean, heck, they might, I mean, if you don't win the race, you can at least still walk away with that $10 credit bonus just by leading a lap. And that's the first lap back from caution, as these guys are double filed, ready to restart. The number 69 of Dale Smalley will be taking us to the green, but right beside him, Mark Jackson, that number 2. Can he get down, or will the number 31 of Cecil Reen, who has been a very fast car whenever he's pushing a veteran, can he hook up with Dale Smalley and just take away from this pack, Matt?
Yeah, and it's going to definitely take some work for these other guys to get past that Tango. As the pace car is off, back to the green flag racing. Dale Smalley off to a good start, as he's got to try and get his teammate Mark Jackson down in there at some point. But Cecil Reen still up there up front on the low line, trying to see what he can get done. And he wrecks his teammate Jackson's around up front, causing a huge wreck. Pile up of cars. It looks like 5 people may have gotten through this, but the rest of the field is just in. I don't even know what to say, Ted.
I am absolutely speechless right now. The number 2 of Mark Jackson, a guy we have talked so highly about all race today, right on the restart, gets into the right rear corner panel of the number 69 of Dale Smalley, which just sent him careening into the outside wall, down to the number 72 of Ron McMahon. And just from there, it's on. They just a huge chain reaction. I mean, the 14 into it. Number 2 almost upside down. The 8 truck upside down. So many trucks in this wreck. Almost the entire field. Oh my gosh, Matt.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of cars out here in the field. I mean, you've got people from the front, from the back, they're dog-legging around, they don't want to tow, that tow costs them laps. It's just definitely going to be a little bit of a pile-up trying to get this all back figured out.
Yep, under caution once again at Daytona International Speedway, only on lap 52, and it doesn't look like we have too many cars left on the lead lap, because a lot of these guys are just, man, just their trucks are absolutely destroyed after that wreck. I think 5 cars got through it after the guy who was sitting in second place spun up into the wall, and just it was on from there. On a happier note for Dale Smalley, he led lap 51, regardless if there was a caution or not, so he will get the 10 extra bonus credits brought to you by Barks Competition Karting. So that's a little bright side for Dale Smalley, as he still sits in first place.
Huge downside though, Ted. Where's his teammate?
Yeah, that is. You're correct. That is a huge downside. His teammate went into the wall back there, but I mean, he has some guys that he can still look for. I mean, Cecil Reen's still up there.
Cecil always needs a teammate, man. He doesn't even have a partner, so definitely he's gonna need somebody.
And that somebody went into the pits. Dale Smalley, Colton Berkey, they're all down into the pits right now. And Cecil Reen, who's currently being marked as first place, he stayed up there. He stayed onto the trek. So it's a little bit of an interesting move by that number 31 truck, and hopefully it will pay off. But we're just past the halfway point here at Daytona, and so I can't possibly imagine what's going on in these drivers' minds right now.
Well, maybe some of them had some damage, or maybe a little something else, but definitely you can't make it from here. So Cecil had a good reason not to pit. Maybe these other drivers need some fuel. They haven't pit in a long time, since the 3rd or 2nd caution of this race.
Yeah, because fuel, like you said earlier, tires, not too much of a difference, but fuel is everything. Especially in this series, we've seen a lot of guys get knocked out with fuel and just fall back and not be able to finish the race because of that, or lose a chance to win the race because of that. But right now, looking at the scoring chart, that number 31 is Cecil Reen, still looking pretty bright and bushy Up there in the front, he's sitting happy in first place. Dale Smalley still being shown in the number 2 spot, but once we hit this start-finish line, it seems like we might go ahead and the scoring might change a little bit, Matt.
Score is definitely going to change here. You got new guys. You're going to have new guys out front. Good guys 2 laps down because they had a tow. People from the back that didn't get in the accident. It's going to be a whole mess. These guys don't know where they're going to start. They don't know who they're going to be next to. They don't even know if their teammate even still has a car back up on the trailer. But one guy smiling ear to ear, I can tell you, is that 71 Vincent Vinny. Third in points, looking to take the chunk. He's now got that chance at Dale Smalley, who's only 2 positions ahead of him.
Yeah, he definitely has a good chance of getting up there and getting things done, as he is now being shown in that 2nd position. Dale Smalley, the other guy that he's trying to fight for in points, in that number 69, sitting in 5th place. And look at that, Colton Berkey sitting in that number 81 truck in 4th place. So he's up there. A lot of new guys that you're starting to look at, but a lot of old faces as well. James Brown, for instance, in that 00 car, he's sitting in 6th place.
Yeah, so definitely James Brown, good guy, always up there, especially at these plate tracks. And definitely it was a good night.
Yeah, that number 71 car though, Vincent Vinny, looks a little banged up there, and so we don't know if that might have that might affect his aerodynamics as we go back to green here. But looking on back, someone that we have seen sitting in the 12th position and sitting in the 13th position is that number 11 of Bruce Arbachard and that number 40 of David Wankin. So this is going to be very interesting. I mean, they got knocked back from a wreck that happened a little bit earlier on, about 2 cautions ago, and now they're sitting just outside the top 10, and so they might be able to make a move up there to the front. They have had fast cars all day, so it'll be interesting to see. As looking back up at the front at our leader, the number 31, Cecil Reen, the light's still on the pace cars. Will go around at least one more time here at Daytona.
I'm getting some messages here on the radio from Dale Cronkite tonight. He's in the number 54 machine. A little beaten up, it looks like. But he says his truck was done up to commemorate his friend who died in a war tear on June 3rd, 2008, and the troops of Canada and U.S. So definitely he's supporting the troops out there tonight on that 54 machine. He's got... remember the Canadian troops and his buddy who was definitely lost in the war, and he just wanted us to mention that and make sure that everybody understands the amount of work that people put into protecting their country.
Yeah, everybody can I mean, everybody should be very appreciative of those who go ahead and do the duty of signing up and taking that sacrifice to serve their country and protect it from evil, both foreign and domestic. So to those out there, we salute you and thank you for protecting both the United States, Canada, and any other country that seems to be that might be watching right now. Lights are off on the pace car. We'll be going around one more time as everybody is double filed up. Cecil Reen in that number 31 car down low. Number 71, Vincent Vinny, up on the high side. We'll go back to green. These 2 cars have not seen that green flag right in front of them before, so it'll be interesting to see what happens when that green flag drops, Matt.
Yeah, definitely will be interesting to see what happens when the green flag drops. So, you got Vincent Vinny up there, and it looks like Dale Smalley fell back a little bit. They're back to the 5th place position, so looking to take some points out of the championship and figure out who's going where.
Right now, the championship points, looking at your top 10 drivers, the ones who are up there, Vincent Vinny is a name. Dale Smalley and James Brown, those are your main guys from the points standings right now. Dale Smalley, obviously your points leader, but pace car down onto pit road. Green flag up on the speedway. Cecil Reen getting a huge jump out front as they head off into one. One truck stopped up high. He's stuck up there. He's moving back a little bit, but jumping up right behind him, it looks like is that number 40 car, or rather the number 11 car, Bruce R. Bouchard. He'll give him a little push as they'll try to head down and make something happen. That number 33 car as well up there, Travis Brown, trying to make something work, but up front, that number 31 of Cecil Reen being pushed by the number 03 of Jeremy Crandall as he has a phenomenal lead. Stuck in the middle there, not anybody to work with, is that number 69 of Dale Smalley. And right behind him, Vincent Vinny, Colton Berkey, John Larson. That whole group will be slow, or not slowly, they'll be catching up to him quite quick, Matt.
Yeah, definitely will be catching up quick, but Cecil out to about a 1 second lead over third place. Dale Smalley's kind of out there by himself. Nobody to work with. Vincent Vinny's coming up behind him with Colton Berkey, but he's kind of in no man's land, Ted.
Yeah, he sure is. He's stuck there in no man's land, but now Vincent Vinny, that 71, will get a huge run on him, and he'll have to jump up high. He can't stick in front of him and block him. That's just going to cause a wreck, and so he smartly jumps up high. And who's going to jump up high with him? That number 15 car, and that's Daniel E. Miller. He'll jump up to help the points leader right now, try to get back up there to the front, and he'll stop falling back, and he'll start getting a good push up there. But that number 71 of Vincent Vinny, along with the number 81 of Colton Berkey and the number 98 of John Larson, they're all making their hard charge way up to the front. And who is that in that number? It looks 87, Garrett Atwell, someone we haven't talked about at all today. He's also trying to make a run to get up there. Caution out on the speedway once again here at Daytona, Matt.
Yeah, it looks like it may come out towards the back. Still trying to get this queue up here as I see some drivers scrambling. And I see the number 3 is around coming out of turn 2. It looks like just a little bit of a pushing error coming through turn 2 and down onto the backstretch.
Yeah, looking at what might have happened, it happened a couple of trucks up from that number 3, and it happened to the 93 of Salvatore Accardi. And what happened to him was Gordon Berkey, that number 07 car, ended up hitting him. He went down, went up to the top, slammed into the wall, and then came right back down into a couple other trucks. Another truck caught in that mix, that number 2 of Mark Jackson. He got stuck up in that, got a lot of damage to his car, Matt.
Yeah, definitely a lot of damage to the car. A lot of these drivers, though, coming down, Ted, probably this time, because you know what? This puts them good to go to the end. If they could complete the whole 101 laps here of the race, because we're only 42 laps away. Ted, I think we're going to step away for another moment here and let these guys get set up and see what they do. So we'll be right back after another word from our sponsors.
Inside SimRacing.TV, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
We are live here at Daytona International Speedway once again under caution after another wreck on the backstretch, or on the backstretch. Sorry about that. And involving a few cars, a truck that did get caught up in that once again. The number 2 of Mark Jackson, who had been running up front all day long until a late caution, the one before this one, came out, and Mark Jackson ended up being caught up in that. Ended up getting a lot of damage to his car. He's looking at 1 lap down right now. Other people to look at who have been up front, Gary Bauer in that number 07 car, also caught up in this last caution. He is 2 laps down. Gordon Berkey is 5 laps down. So a lot of big names stuck back behind the pack with a bunch of damaged trucks, and so it's going to be very interesting as only time will tell who's going to be left standing at the end of this race. Number 31 of Cecil Reen still sitting up front. He was my pick to win. Hopefully I didn't just jinx him right there. Matt, what do you think, man?
I think he jinxed him. Remember, Ted, at the beginning of the season, I can't pick a driver because I said Kenneth O'Keefe was going to win that race, and then the next lap he got spun out, so I got to keep my mouth shut for the person I really want to win.
Okay, I see how that is. Well, I mean, hey, Cecil hasn't really... Nothing bad has happened to him yet since I since I said something earlier on in the race, but yeah, maybe the good old what's it called, when something bad happens when you say it, jinx it or whatever. Well, I hope that I don't jinx it like I do usually when I say cautions breed cautions. But lights, it look like, are still on the pace car right now. Everybody's still single file lines ahead off down the backstretch. Your top 5 are Cecil Reen, Jeremy Crandall, Vincent Vinny, Colton Berkey, and John Larson. Just a couple names that we've heard up there today, and a couple of new names, such as Gary Atwill, who sits in 7th place currently.
Yeah, and after those 2 big accidents right there, you've got 21 cars after the wave around going to be on the lead lap here when they take the green flag. It looks about 30th on back, decide to park their car. We got word from Daryl Cronkite. He doesn't want to risk it out there with some of these guys who are already racing with damaged race cars, so he said he's going to pull it behind the wall. But once again, he's out there. He's commemorating his friend, the Canadian troops, from June 3rd, and there was in a war attack. He himself is, I believe, is in the Canadian troops, he said, so definitely thanking him for protecting his own country and taking that pride there.
Yep, definitely something that we always want to thank those for serving. So, lights off on the pace car, it will look like, as everybody will start going back double file, and we'll get back underway here at Daytona, hopefully for the last time, as we are currently on lap 62 out of 101. We're about an hour, 25 minutes into this race tonight. And a couple of cautions, well, I should say a lot of cautions have occurred that have taken out strong runners here at Daytona International Speedway. 7 cautions in total, which has collected a lot of big names such as Mark Jackson, that number 9, or in that number 2. Dale Smalley, our current points leader, sitting back right now in 18th position in his number 69. So as we come around onto the backstretch, we'll have half a lap to figure out what exactly is going to happen, Matt. Are we going to go back to green flag racing with these final 20 cars on the lead lap? Or will we be plagued by another big one?
I think we're going to see a couple more big ones here before the end of the night. We'll get something down to like we did at Talladega, like 4 cars running for the win, and just all these single car spins not causing the yellows, because as long as that one truck has enough time to get out of the way of the field and they're not going to affect other people's racing, they won't throw the yellow. So maybe we'll get down to that point again, Ted. Hopefully not, though. It'd be nice to see 10 or 20 people have the chance to go for the win.
Yeah, hopefully he will get a chance for the win there. And so, like I've been saying, only time will tell. We're going back to green this time by. And that pace car will take its hard left turn down, and we'll go back to green. And so only time will tell here.
The pace car's pulling down. Cecil Reen again trying to take the green flag here. As he does, pulling out front. Is he going to stay with Jeremy Crandall? Is Jeremy Crandall going to stay with him, as they've been working well all night together?
And it looks like they will, as Jeremy Crandall will jump down behind Cecil Reen in that number 31 car, and they'll push around. But right behind them, Vincent Vinny, he got a little bit of a slow start. John Larson will pop in right behind him. Gary Atwell in that bright yellow car, or truck rather, will fall in behind them. But looking up top, that number 81 of Colton Berkey, who looks to be being pushed by the number 15 of Daniel E. Miller. They'll make a run for the lead above the number 31 of Cecil Reen and the number 03 of Jeremy Crandall.
2 by 2 for the lead as they come down the back stretch, or excuse me, the front stretch here at the moment. 31 Cecil Reen able to hold the lead coming to the line, but side by side once again as they're heading down into 1.
They head down in the 1, still side by side, 2 by 2. Colton Berkey and Daniel E. Miller trying to make something happen out of Cecil Reen and Jeremy Crandall. Both 4 very fast cars trucks right there. Colton Berkey trying to make something happen. He's slowly made his way up there throughout the race and now sits in that second place spot, trying to peak and get the lead. We're just getting word and seeing Gary Bauer in his number 07 car, who has been up front all day. He has taken his truck behind the wall with significant damage from a couple of cautions that have occurred, and he will be out of this race. The number 15 now, Daniel E. Miller, switching with the number 81 of Colton Berkey as the light comes on.
Yeah, definitely. This isn't going to come down to a battle of who can push better or who has the low line, who has the high line. It's going to be, are you overheating first? Because once that person starts overheating, they're going to drop back. Look at that. It's about 7 truck lengths, excuse me, there. Whereas we're switching cars every week with this series. Now they're in trucks. So 7 truck lengths all the way back just from doing a little switch.
Yeah, you think this car and truck thing, I mean, I'm getting screwed up from it now, but you think that's bad. Wait till they get those little legend cars racing around. That's going to be one heck of a show, and that's going to pop up in a couple of weeks. But like you said, with these trucks overheating when they're pushing one another. But I got to ask you, Matt, on that subject, do you think with 2 laps to go, they're really going to care about that? Or are they just going to push the hell out of it and hopefully their truck won't explode by the time that they get down there?
2 laps to go, you're pushing it. I definitely say once the white flag's out, lights blinking, you can make it around still one more time. But 2 to go is pushing it, and you definitely don't want to leave whoever you're working with stranded out there a lap and a half, and they got to go half lap by themselves. So I'd say 2 laps you're pushing it, but 1 lap, that thing blinking, whatever, keep going.
Looking back at the number 11, Bruce R. Bouchard, someone who has been up there all day, fell back after a couple of accidents he was in, now sitting in the 6th position, pushing the number 18 of Jay Anderson. They are making huge headway as they head down there. Bruce R. Bouchard's teammate David Wank in that number 40 car, where is he sitting right now? 13th position, being pushed by the number 69 of Dale Smalley. They are trying to make their way up there very quickly, and I'm telling you right now, Matt, it's lap 67 out of 101. They have plenty of time to get up there and make a move for the race. So do you think that they will, or will they not?
I think they're going to need a caution from their standpoint. Definitely, these leaders, they're hauling the mail every lap by. These guys, they'll have to get into a line, and they've got some 2x2 race, and they got to work with some of the slower traffic back there that has damage. So it's going to take a caution or 2.
Yeah, and we look back up to the front at the number 31 of Cecil Reen, that pack that's happening right now. They're starting to spread out a little bit more, looking at a wider shot. That number 15 of Daniel E. Miller has kind of broken away from the number 81 of Colton Berkey as they've tried to make their way up there, and they've all kind of split up a little bit. And what this has done is this has opened it up for the number 11 of Bruce R. Bouchard and the number 18 of Jay Anderson, along with the number 98 and number 87 of John Larson and Garrett Atwell, respectively, as they head on up there. So right now you have about, I mean, you got 8 cars, all in the lead lap, and they're within truck lengths of one another, and they're moving up there. They're each and every single one of them are hauling butt as they head down the backstretch. And so right now, once again, there you go. The number 15, Daniel E. Miller, Colton Berkey, they're making a run for the lead as they'll try to take it away from the number 31 of Cecil Reen.
Cecil Reen working his way down there on the low side, trying to keep the lead. That 03 Jeremy Crandell, I don't know what he's got there in his cooler, but it's definitely not getting hot because he's been behind him for about 5 laps now, Ted, and I just don't know how he's doing it.
And he will end up getting that lap. Daniel E. Miller, that number 15, being shown in first place. And that's something special to really look at when you think about it, man, because when it comes to earlier on in the race, a lot of people you weren't seeing. You know, a lot of these names you weren't seeing up here in the front now. I mean, obviously it helps with all these cautions that have happened and all these big drivers being knocked out of it. But when it all comes down to it, seeing drivers like Daniel E. Miller and Colton Berkey, Cecil Reen, Jeremy Crandall, Jay Anderson, you know, all these names that we haven't really talked about throughout the day being up there. The fact that they're up there in the front, it's pretty neat to see.
It's definitely interesting to see. You got these couple cars coming 5th and 6th, Jay Anderson, Bruce R. Bouchard, 7th and 8th, John Larson, Garrett Atwell, coming to join the party up front for the lead as these leaders jostle it up. And they're passing a lap car. They got to try and get by here side by side.
And absolutely hauling ass to the front, sitting in 9th position right now. Dale Smalley being pushed by the number 40 of David Wink. They're in 9th and 10th. A couple of laps ago, they were sitting just outside of that in 12th and 13th. So they are making their way up, and they are pushing it very hard as they come down onto the front stretch. And they'll try to make their way up there. They're 4 seconds behind the leaders right now. But I'm telling you, in a couple of laps, they'll be right there fighting with it. I'm telling you, Matt.
Yeah, they'll definitely be right there fighting for it. And, I mean, these drivers still a long way to go. 30 laps, 60 miles they got to go around this track before they can take the checkered and bring home the cash. But it's definitely looking to shape up a little bit different as I see Cecil Reen has grabbed himself a new partner.
Yeah, Cecil Reen has definitely grabbed onto a new partner, which is, hey, whatever works for you. The number 15 of Daniel E. Miller is now being pushed by the number 31 of Cecil Reen, and then Colton Berkey is with the number 18 of Jay Anderson, which it's very. See, when you don't have a teammate, like we're looking at all the beginning of the race with Bruce R. Bouchard and his teammate David Wink. They were up there and they were working together, and I mean, you saw these two guys with identical paint schemes, and you're just saying, well, that figures. These two teammates are working together to do anything to work with one another, and now you got these guys who don't really have teammates, and I mean, they're kind of new here, so they don't really work with anybody. They don't really know how to work with anybody other than just testing it out and seeing what's happening, and this is a perfect example right here. Daniel E. Miller was working with somebody else and just said, hey, I'm going to jump down in front of that number 31 truck and see what the heck happens, and it's happening. But looking back at the number 18 of Jay Anderson, he's being split up with his drafting partner Colton Berkey, and that will open up the door for that number 03 of Jeremy Crandell to pop down low with his drafting partner, the number 98 of John Larson. That will get Colton Berkey away from the number 18 truck and not be able to make a move, as he's now all alone on the high side trying to go for the lead.
Trying to go for the lead, but no help. He's out there by himself. The next person back, the 81 of Colton. And you got the number 18 up there just kind of strangling around, keeping the side draft. As you can see, he's kind of pinching him down a little bit.
Yeah, he's trying to capture that side draft and get a little bit more moving, but it's just not happening. And now Colton Berkey in that 81 truck has now caught right back up to him and is all over the rear bumper of him. Bruce R. Bouchard kind of getting the message and falling back a little bit, like, oh man, we are getting packed here up at the front. I mean, just a couple of minutes ago, we were only 2 by 2 by 2. You know, we weren't really all grouped up like we are now, and now everybody just kind of moved up on one another all at the same time. And so it's going to be interesting to see exactly at the end of, I mean, I'm telling you right now, at the end of this race, it's definitely not going to be the same people drafting one another as we see right now. I mean, it's going to be no holds bar, just fighting for that first top spot.
Yeah, looking at Dale Somali, worked his way back up into the top 10. He's on the bottom with number 40, David Wink still. You got James Brown way back there in the 00, working with Doug Najidi, just trying to make something work for them. I think these 4 trucks got to get in the line and really start just switching all the way around to get the fastest laps they can.
And when they do that, they'll start gaining more and more ground on this leader. What they really do need, like you said earlier, is they need a caution if they're going to do anything with this. But right now, for what they have and what they've been given, they're making great moves to get up to the front. Up high, Dale Smalley kind of losing the draft as he switches up with David Wank in that number 40 car. But then David Wank will jump right back up, jump into line, and that will allow the number 25 of Doug Nigel and the number 00 of James Brown to move on past them. But all through the rest of the night, you're going to see those double cars just switching up, trying to get more air into their truck. And like we were saying before the end of this, we've seen cautions come out randomly. We're going to keep on seeing cautions. But earlier on, about 3-4 laps ago, I was saying that they were 4 seconds down. That was Dale Smalley and David Wank. Now they are 3 seconds down, a whole second. They've gained a whole second on these lead trucks. They still have very, very strong trucks considering the wreck and the punishment that they've been in earlier today. So they're making a hard charge to the front, and only time will tell if they get up there.
Yeah, Doug, I'm looking back. I'm just trying to find out the last time Cecil Reen pit. This is not good news looking forward for him. I haven't seen him pit in a long time. Pit stop could be coming up soon for that driver, as he's gone probably about 30 laps on that tank. I don't think he can make it to the end.
Yeah, he really needs a caution right now, otherwise he's going to have to pit under green, and that will not go well. And another whole thing with it is that if he jumps down there, I mean, he's got a bunch of cars hauling it right behind him, and so he's going to have to jump down there quick to try to get out of the way. And he's going to lose a lot of positions, maybe even go a lap down if he has to pit under green. So right now, Cecil Reen, if he's being told anything by his spotter, it's we need a caution right now. We need a caution right now. But looking up on the high side, in that bright yellow car, John Larson, the number 98, and Garrett Atwell in that number 87. They're pushing to the front. They want a little taste of the lead. We haven't seen Garrett Atwell up there at all today, but there he is, pushing up to the front, right behind the number 98 of John Larson in that Budweiser truck.
Yeah, working up their way to the front. Number 31, Cecil Reen, stuck there on the inside, pushing the 15 as hard as he can, but the 98 just blown by John Larson.
Yeah, he really did. He just got a huge run, but a slow truck up top moving in on. They're going to have to move down out of the way, and everybody gets by just fine, but that was a very close one, Matt. Up front, John Larson, you're looking at your leader right now. He sits in first place in that number 98. Garrett Atwell right behind him in his number 87 truck. And then right behind them in that number 15, Daniel E. Miller. He's lost his drafting partner, number 31, and he will dive down. Both Daniel E. Miller and Cecil Reen will jump down and pit this time by drafting partners, Matt.
And not such a good a decision, I don't think, by both those drivers. Probably needed gas, but these other guys, if I'm doing my math right, well, they pitted lap 58, got a few caution laps in there. They should be good to the end.
Yeah, these guys up front, John Larson, Colton Berkey, Bruce Arbachard, Garrett Atwell, they're all good to go until the end of this race. And so it's very tough luck for the likes of Cecil Reen and Miller as Daniel E. Miller as they fall back even farther as they head off into the pits. And so tough luck for those two drivers, but they had to pit or else they were going to run out of fuel. It was a tough choice they had to make, but they had to make it. As they got a splash and go, they're underway once again, moving away. Looking up front, heading off into turn one, your leader, the number 81 of Colton Berkey. Right behind him, that number 11 of Bruce Arbachard. As they'll switch up, they were running hot as they will switch up, and now Bruce Arbachard will be in the lead once again today. We saw him earlier today in the lead, switching off with his teammate David Wank, and now he's up at the front once again, but this time with a different drafting partner, Colton Berkey.
Yeah, and just getting more stats down here on pit road, guys. Smalley pit 61 along with his driving partner right now, David Wang. There's a few more guys up front that can't make it, that they're going to have to make a pit stop here at some point. So heartbreak for people like John Larson. Going to have to come down pit road at some point before the end of this thing.
Looking back a little bit, truck up into the wall up front there as Bouchard went underneath another driver, it looks like. But looking back at around, I'd say, the 7th position and 8th position, David Wank in that number 40, Dale Smalley in that number 69. They are still moving their way up. They have gained another second, now 2 seconds behind the race leader. They'll switch up, running hot, and they're running hot for a reason, because they are hauling it down that backstretch and around this track, trying to make it up there. The reason why that helped a little bit, John Larson, that number 98, and Garrett Atwell got together a little bit, got a little bit loose, and they have fallen away from the leader, who is currently being shown as Bruce R. Bouchard in that number 11 truck.
Yeah, and I don't know if John Larson so much said, hey guys, I have to go, like, I don't think he so much went up to the wall unintentionally, but intentionally, is he just wanted to get out of the way for these guys, is he'll probably be slowing up here to get some gas and not too many more laps.
A very sad sight to see. Looking up front at your leaders, Bruce R. Bouchard, that number 11, and Colton Berkey right behind him pushing it. Who are they about to come up on in lap? The number 31 of Reen and the number 15 of Miller, as they have caught up to those two drivers and will try to get past them, this time by putting those trucks a lap down. Just a couple laps ago, those two were on the lead lap and fighting for the lead, even in the lead for a couple of laps. Now they're about to go a lap down as the Colton Berkey and Bouchard both switch positions. After getting a little overheated, and they'll move to the inside.
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to make it that easy for them to just go along, but being respectful to the leaders, let them to go right down there on the low line. But I'm sure they'll stay right there with them, as they were strong tango partners before, keeping up with Bruce R. Bouchard and Colton Berkey.
Yep, as they have now fallen down a lap. Also fallen down a lap, heading off below the yellow line, is Gordon Berkey in that number 17 car, who was stuck in a crash earlier on in the race. He got messed up in that, but right now he's sitting there and he's rooting for his son Colton Berkey in that number 81, who is sitting in the first position right in front of Bruce R. Bouchard in the number 11 car. They're going 200 miles an hour down that backstretch, obviously topping off at that speed because of the restrictors inside of these Chevy Silverados. We are currently on lap 86 out of 101 here at Daytona International Speedway, as because of green flag pit stops, we have separated. The leaders now have a 3-second lead on third place. Colton Berkey and Bruce R. Bouchard, 4 seconds now on John Larson, Garrett Atwell, and David Wank, as they are just pulling away from these guys, Matt.
And these guys are licking their chops. They are two guys, I went back, I checked, both good on gas, going to make it to the end. So they know the race has come down between the two of them. But where they are 4 seconds back, Dale Smalley, David Wank, who are moving up through the field fast, well, neither of them have to pit either. They're up to 4th and 5th, and they're going to try and break for the podium finish.
And they certainly have a good chance at doing so, as they just scream by Garrett Atwell and John Larson. So now they will be sitting in 3rd and 4th place, and they are just hauling butt to get up there. And they're, like I said, they're 4 seconds behind the leaders as of right now. But if there's a caution or anything like that, then something crazy might happen.
Alright guys, we're gonna step away, do the final commercial of the night, a real quick one just to get all of the names out there. So we'll be right back with all the action and bring you all the way to the checkers.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
We are back live here at Daytona International Speedway. Colton Berkey in the number 81 and Bruce Arbachard still killing it out front as Bruce Arbachard sits in the first place position. Colton Berkey right behind them as they pass the start-finish line this time by. It will be 10 laps to go here at Daytona. Something to make note of, Dale Smalley and David Wank, the guys who are killing it up to the front, are now sitting 5 seconds behind the leader and still falling back. They might have some mechanical issues with their truck, so that's something to take note of. However, Matt, it doesn't look like we're going to have to worry about those two cars. It looks like it's going to be a 2-truck drag race to the finish tonight.
Yeah, and I would say, you know what, neither of those cars have control over on who's going to win, because as long as Cecil and Daniel E. Green are standing there waiting, they'll be able to push who they want coming out of 4 on the final lap and really decide who's going to win the race.
And that's going to be very interesting to see who they do end up siding with and staying with, because those two trucks, Cecil Reen and Miller's, Miller's, they're really holding on to it and staying there to push along. And whoa, I don't know if, well, there's a car in the grass down below, so, but I don't know if Berkey was trying to switch right there, but he almost came down into Reen. One thing that to take note of, if you're watching it at home, this 31 car and this 15 car, Reen and Miller, they're not in this to win. They just have very fast trucks, and they came at it they had to take a pit stop for gas at a very unfortunate time as they were sitting out front. So that's why their trucks are so dang fast, and then sticking with these two leaders, Bruce Arbachard and Colton Berkey, as they come down to the line, lap 94 out of 101. It is time to put the pedal to the metal and try to get around this track. And you got to be wondering to yourself, if you're Colton Berkey, is how long is this veteran Bruce Arbachard going to stick with you, and what is he going to do if he's behind you? Is he going to dump you? Is he going to race you? What's going to happen, Matt?
Colton and Bruce Arbachard, they've been racing every week here with us here in the Sunday Money series on ETV Live. And just to have a Cecil Reen doing his debut race tonight and him pretty much holding that, like I said, that deciding factor in his hand, I really think possibly he doesn't really know who he likes better at this point. It's going to come down to who he thinks is drafted with him or helped him out a little bit more probably throughout this race.
Yeah, and right now we're being shown only 10 trucks on the lead lap, as that's all that we have left. The last person on the lead lap is 21 seconds behind the leader. That's Ron McMahon and the number 72 truck. He sits back in 10th place, so the top 10 are the only drivers on the lead lap. Once again, making the switch is Bruce Arbachard and the number 81 of Colton Berkey. And you got to wonder, Matt, how many times are they going to do this now? As the meters start running, but the laps start ticking down. We're on lap 95, now on lap 96 out of 101. Crunch time, baby. How much time do they have left, and how long are they going to run with one another on what they got?
Yeah, it's single file here. They're going to make a couple more switches coming to the end. It's going to really play out who's leading on the last lap, who's going to have to try and make the pass for the win, or will they even try to make the pass for the win and just be happy with that finish. But Here on the Sunday Money Series, guys, that place is worth $10. So let's be real, they're gonna wreck each other probably.
Yeah, they got money on the line. They got actual money on the line here coming down to it. And so, will it be the rookie who dumps the veteran, or will it be the other way around? We have about, I would say, 5 laps to go here on the speedway this time by.
And as they go into one, I'm looking back, 3rd and 4th place, got the number 40 and 69. David Wank, Dale Smalley, they're on that bubble for the cash right now. David Wank would get it if the race was to go under a caution, but Dale Smalley, champion from last season, maybe he wants to put some money in his pocket tonight, so that's another position to watch for. Behind them, 21 seconds back, there's a pack of cars. They're racing for points right now, and that pack is being led by Jeremy Crandell, a earlier teammate working up with Cecil Reen for the first half of the race, helping him lead the laps that he did.
4 laps to go on the speedway. Bruce R. Bouchard sitting in 1st place. Colton Berkey sitting in 2nd. But now they'll switch, probably and maybe for the last time here, as Colton Berkey jumps out in front of Bruce R. Bouchard as they head on down the backstretch. 4 laps to go. 3 this time by as they pass the lap car on the high side. So it's going to be interesting to see. And like you said, they might, whoa! They're bouncing off one another. That's 81 might be out of gas, Matt.
It looks like the 81 slow down there on the apron. He ran it out of gas. I thought for sure pitting lap 62 would give him enough, but Bruce R. Bouchard looks like, so far, I don't want to say anything at this point now because it's going to be close probably, but he'll have to pick up another drafting partner and try and take this baby to the end.
And it looks like he will find a drafting partner in that number 15 of Daniel E. Miller. So if he can hold on to it these next 3 laps, Bruce R. Bouchard will hold on to the win. As our race leader at the time, Colton Berkey, has run out of gas and had to fall back. Tough luck for Colton Berkey as, whoa, into the wall as the car. Jumps down low, but he didn't spin out. That's a good thing, as we would not want to see it. Well, even if it did end under caution as they spin. Now we got cars spinning down the front stretch. A truck into the wall, the number 3. Under caution here, maybe, I think, for the last time, Matt.
That is caution out. The race will end. Bruce R. Bouchard, as long as he can make it back to the checkered flag after these 2 laps of pacing, he will be announced your winner.
Yep, and we're being told right now it's over. Bruce R. Bouchard will be your winner tonight here at Daytona International Speedway, as he'll take the win. And it could have been an exciting ending, but Colton Berkey ended up running out of gas, had to bring it on down. Colton Berkey being shown in 7th place right now, and so he'll bring it around in 7th place, the last car on the lead lap. After a caution has come out with 1 lap to go here or 2 laps to go rather, here at Daytona International Speedway. And the reason for this caution is the number 22 car, Ralph Shipman. He ended up coming up into the number 31, and they just both spun down into the 3, who just took a wild ride up into the outside safer barrier walls. But Matt, it is over. Bruce R. Bouchard is your winner here at Daytona International Speedway.
And definitely a hard-fought win for him. Pulled out to a 6-second lead using some pit strategy in there and fuel conservation mode probably at points during that run after being so close. Dale Smalley was in 2nd place when the yellow flew, and right behind him, David Wank would round out your podium finishes in the cash spots for the night. Definitely heartbreak, though. You gotta say heartbreak for that number 81, Colton Berkey.
Yeah, that surely is. I mean, with 3-4 laps to go, and all of a sudden you just run out of gas, and he was doing such a good job running up there in that top 5 almost all race. I mean, it took a while for him to get up there, and he finally did, and just for it to end that way is definitely a shame. But he has a top 10 finish. He came in 7th place today. Your top 5 is Bruce R. Bouchard winning it today, Dale Smalley in 2nd, David Wank in 3rd, Donald King in 4th, and Chris Scala in 5th.
Yeah, I'm sure. Looking back at this, Dale Smalley, David Wank, we're looking forward to going for the checkers and seeing who would have got that second spot. I told you not to jinx him, though, man. I told you not to jinx him, Ted.
You can't. Okay, I'm just gonna take it. I'm never gonna. Well, don't ask me a question. Don't make me pick somebody if you don't want me to jinx them, because that's just gonna end up happening every single time. And you know, I'm gonna have to end up saying sorry to sorry to him for jinxing him. But Cecil had held on to it pretty good that entire time. But that was a good race. That was Bruce Arbachard taking the win after the man he was pushing, Colton Berkey, running out of gas. And I'm telling you what, if Dale Smalley or David Wank, I mean, they came in second and third place, but they were moving. I mean, they were hauling ass down that down the entire track trying to get up to him. If they had at least 10 more laps on this racetrack, they could have easily gotten up there. But not only that, I mean, would that not have been a fantastic finish to see those four guys trying to race it out for the end? Nevertheless, though, Bruce Arbachard runs away with the win after the only cars that could have been able to catch him were 5 seconds behind because of green flag pit stops, and Colton Berkey running out of gas, a heartbreak for the young man.
Even after the pit stop Colton Berkey made, he will finish 7th, though, because everybody... Alright, guys. Got the top 3 in the booth. Starting with David Wank down here, out on the track. We're going to do the interview, it looks like. So, number 40, David Wank. How did that car, well, it was a truck for the night, unlike every other week so far. So, when you were pushing, how did that truck feel?
It felt pretty good. I had a solid set thanks to Storm and Bruce, so it was a fast and pretty steady.
It looked like earlier on in the race, you and Bruce Bouchard were working pretty well. Once you guys got separated a little bit, what was going through your mind for the next strategy?
I was mainly focused trying to get back up to him and we get together. It just didn't work out like that.
Alright, well, it looks like you still had a great finish tonight, 3rd place. Who got this done for you?
Bruce and Bruce Bouchard for the set. Thanks, Bruce, for the set, and thank my mentor Alan for teaching me the ropes.
Alright, thank you. And Ted, I think, is caught up with 2nd place finisher Dale Smalley.
Hey, Dale Smalley, this is Ted up in the ETV live booth. You got me, bud?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Hey, how you doing, Dale? So, a race that has seen ups and downs all today when it came to wrecks and everything like that. You got caught up in a couple yourself in that number 69 machine. Did you ever think you would be able to race back up there and with David Wank of all people?
Yeah, I knew we had a pretty good chance if we just had a few more laps, or if some lap cars would have worked with us a little bit better, I believe we'd have caught them.
And that was an absolutely fantastic rush you two made up there to the front. Going into this race, what were your expectations? What did you think was going to happen? Did you think it was going to be a continuation of what we saw last time we were at Talladega, or were you expecting something different?
Restrictor plate, I hate to sound overly confident, but I always expect to win. I enjoy these tracks a whole lot. I was expecting to win it, at least a good top 5 like I got.
Well, if math serves me well, then it still looks like you are in first place in the point standings for the Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series. So congratulations on that. And are there any people you would like to thank that made it happen for you tonight, Dale?
I'd like to thank David Wank for drafting with me, and I'd like to thank Robert Sundberg. He helps me with all my restrictor plate setups and all.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Dale. And going back down there, victory lane, Matt, it looks like you've caught up with our winner, Bruce R. Bouchard.
Yeah, down here with Bruce R. Bouchard, the winner of our race. So definitely congratulations to you, Bruce. Did you ever get nervous with everybody around you running out of gas and having to make the pit stops?
Oh, yeah, I kind of thought about it a few laps before it was about to happen. I saw Dale pull off and grab fuel, and I kind of checked it out, and it made sense to grab fuel because it guaranteed you to make it to the end. So I went out and grabbed that and hooked up with Colton. We were pushing for a while. I didn't know if he'd pit or not, so I didn't know if he was going to run out, and eventually he did.
Was there any warning that he was going to run out before you kind of just started plowing into him?
Yeah, it was random. It almost felt like he got on the brakes or something. I mean, we were going really fast, so you know, when you run out of fuel, you slow down pretty quick.
All right, we heard David Wank thank you for the setup. So I'm guessing you're the setup man over on the team. Who gets it done for you though? Who helps you out with your setups?
I guess I start with fixed and just kind of do a lot of testing and look at the car from different angles and, you know, figure out what would be best, I guess. I don't know. I just start from fixed and go from there.
All right, so the setup man on the team helping out all his teammates. Who would you like to thank, though, on your team that helped you get to the win tonight and helped you pull all this off?
Definitely David. In the beginning, we had it pretty much the whole way if we timed it all right, but I kind of got caught on his right rear bumper for a second in the tri-oval, and it kind of messed up our switch, and we kind of started falling back from there, and then you know, from there we got in a few wrecks, and we came back. So
all right, so congratulations to you, Bruce. Once again, the winner of our tonight's race is going to be the 11 of Bruce Arbachard after 101 grueling laps at the Daytona International Speedway, Ted, and just what an amazing race they had tonight.
That was an absolutely fantastic race these guys were able to put on for us tonight. Bruce Arbachard running away with the win with Dale Smalley and David Wank coming in right behind him for the podiums. That will be it for ETV Live here at Daytona International Speedway for the Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series. I'm Ted Manning along with my partner Matt Close, and we'll see you next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the CORA 250.